Good morning, good morning, good morning. This is Demetrius Thomas coming to you via my YouTube channel, which is recorded, and I will upload it later or later this morning. I am currently in Tampa. I'm usually coming, Bradenton. I usually come to you all live or do my recording closer to Gainesville, probably on my way to work, something of that nature. But today, this weekend, whole life just shifted a little bit. I had to slow down for a few days, and I ended up in Bradenton, here doing what I do best, and that's loving on my folks. So it has been, I'm gonna say, a beautiful 3 days. I've learned how to really turn lemons into lemonade. So this is my third day on this river walk, and it is absolutely beautiful. I don't recall ever walking this river walk. I might have when I was younger, but I just don't in my adult days. So this is my 10-minute talk about it segment. I have been a little bit lax the last 2 or 3 weeks. I didn't do it for whatever reason. Y'all know so many things happen, so many things shift in my life. So I'm just learning to take it day by day. You know, I promised you all, and I said that I would possibly go maybe 3 or 4 days a week, maybe every day a week, just for 10 minutes. But so many things shift. I'm gonna be a little bit more intentional about that in the last 6 months of the year. That's how fast time goes by. We're already in June. We're in the 6th month of 2022. This month is all about PTSD month. Believe it or not, last month was mental health. I talked about that a lot because that is how I began my journey to healing after the loss of my son. If you're watching this YouTube channel, it is Healing to Help Heal. Healing, the number 2 to help heal. And then the number's 1122. All about healing from whatever type of pain. It doesn't have to be about grief. It doesn't have to be about the loss of a child, the loss of a mother, father, sister, brother. Y'all know me, I'm like, where I'm at. So it's really all about learning how to process the pain properly. You all know I use so many different tools and so many different segments for my life and things to help me just grow and heal and push through life, period. Not just from the death of my son that started it, started me on a fast track to healing. But I've always researched. I've always looked into things to just figure out why I do what I do, why I had addictions to food, why I ate, you know, things of that nature, why I had so many setbacks, how do I stay focused, how do I stay on the journey. So when my son passed, I just used YouTube a lot. I've always used YouTube a lot, but especially when he passed. It's so many things that's offered on this channel. And then I was spoken into, and it's not my first channel, but I was instructed by coaches to take the channel and to run with it and go with it. And it really has blessed my life. I've had people that have reached out to me regarding the channel. I've had friends and family have sent other people to me through the channel. So I'm excited about what it's going to do. I really am going to be more intentional. I really want to talk about PTSD because that's one thing that I was diagnosed with eventually, and I had to understand it. And as I said last month, mental health is not a topic. It's not an appealing topic. It's a stigma against it. It's judgments against it. So therefore, a lot of people don't want to talk about mental health. They don't want to talk about mental diagnosis. But you can just be unhealthy mentally without a diagnosis. But when you don't treat the unhealthy part of it, it turns into a diagnosis. And there's so many people that's walking around that have not processed pain properly. And the more that I become healed, this is what I loved about my amazing sister. We talked a lot yesterday too. And we talked about how the more we become healed and the more you put in the work, how you begin to really have a level of empathy for folks. You recognize, you get another level of discernment for people who you can tell that's what's wrong. That's the issue. That's the problem. Not that we walk around diagnosing people, but we get an understanding because first of all, we understand ourselves better. Second of all, we can understand other people and we can see those folks that have been healed too. Because healed folks, they don't operate with any and everybody. They don't put their space and their energy in and everywhere. They operate, you can almost tell and discern and channel folks that are healed. Like your conversation is different, your goals are different, your connections are different. And so it's just the same as with folks that are unhealed. So I think we said yesterday that was so powerful how the more you become healed, the more you can see the people that have not healed. And you watch the things they do and the decisions that they make and why they do what they do, and you just get a greater understanding. So that's one of the greatest pluses that I've had on the journey because I had to forgive so many things and so many folks, and I had to forgive so much over the last 2.5 years until I just knew I wasn't in a proper space in my mind and I didn't like the way I felt. So I went on this healing journey. And with that being said, I understand anxiety, I understand depression, I understand stress, I understand, even low self-esteem, I understand insecurity. insecurities. I understand PTSD. I understand the anger. I understand all of that. And I probably have had some of this in the years prior, but I had never properly processed it. So it came through so many other avenues of my life. And this is why I'm here to share with you this morning. And this is why I'm so authentic and so open and honest about it. And I'm going to tell you something. Not only the more that I got healed, the more that the more my family got healed, such as my daughter. I lost my only son, and I have a daughter left, and we had walls, we had barriers that was built up that was like a mile long worth of cement. So the more I became healed, the more I became calm in my spirit and quiet in my soul, the more she could really see the joy, the more she watched me go through experiences with folks and with people and relationships and situations, and she could hear me walk through and process through it and talk and get healed from a really holistic healing space. The more she began to do the work within herself privately, the more she began to open up, the more we can communicate. I didn't even realize my whole demeanor had changed over this last year, because I started really February, March, but I started reading the book Forgetting What You Can Forget, Forgiving What You Can Forget. That took me on a fast track to spiritual healing and getting a great understanding why it is necessary. I love you. I love runners. I do. I love runners. At the end of the day, I just love the fact that I got to see the manifestation of the power of when I put in the work, and I got to see my daughter's life unfold. I got to see, people that she's connected to heal, and how she handled people, and she began to see her worth and her calling, and why you can't stay in such a space. And there's still some things she has to heal and mend from, but I really can see and sense our life changing in 2022. I can see my prayers being answered for her life and for my life, because really that's where it started with me first. I could not remain this way. And if you're watching this and if you're feeling this and you're saying, well, how do I start? So what I'm going to do is every week I have a plan. I have my little planner. I brought it out here again. I'm in Bradenton, Florida. That's behind me, Bradenton. I'm at the Riverwalk. It's absolutely beautiful. I turned lemons into lemonade this weekend. I feel like I was on a mission assignment, so to speak, But I had to find space and time to get out and breathe, and did not realize this was so close. And of course, I asked the security guard, is it safe out there if I go walking on the Riverwalk? He was like, oh yeah, people run, their families out there. You keep walking under the bridge over there, and you'll see if you got kids. I'm like, no, it's just me. I just want to know it's safe for myself. So every day that I was here, I was here one whole day. And then yesterday I came out, and this morning I wanted to come out again. I read some of my book. God has strategically placed me in a position to meet people, and it was just one person. I knew it was going to happen again today. It happened yesterday. So for me, I'm living in the present. I'm learning to understand and enjoying what it feels like to really tap into my wholeness and to really become healed and to really forgive, like from a really, really deep down, dark place that was ugly just a year ago. I didn't understand it, but now I'm understanding how things come to help you to become the best version of yourself. Not saying that I'm okay, not saying that, I can just push past this, not saying this just happened, not saying, this person just passed. No, there's a purpose for everything, and there's parts of it that you may need to process for your growth, that you may need to process to really help people heal. I don't want to become the motivational speaker or the inspirational speaker or the person or the sister or the friend or the aunt that I got to put on fake, facade. That's what I'm trying to say, facade. I want to be that very authentic person to be able to say, this is what I felt. This is what happened to me. This is how I wanted to react, but I couldn't. So that's how I got on this place of healing. That's how I began to do what I do. I'm not going to talk about it now, but maybe later. So what I did was I have intentionally, by Sunday of every week, I'll have at least 10 points that I want to share with you on whatever's going on that week. So of course, or that month. So this month is PTSD. I know it's in the middle of the month and I'm just starting out, but I want to really share with you, if not today, maybe later. And I have some points. And I'm not going to go because I'm almost 10 minutes. And that's because I haven't talked in a long time, but I'm going to make this exactly 10 minutes and I'm at 9 minutes and 15 seconds. But my first point will be maybe today, or if not today, starting sometime this week. I have 5 points that I want to give out before Sunday. And my first one is, I'm talking about trauma. And I'm talking about how to grow from trauma. how regardless if you have trauma or not, how to grow from trauma. So that's what's happening to me. I'm evolving, I'm growing, and it's sincere, it's for real. I mean, I know it. I'm just really, because I had trauma after trauma after trauma, not just the trauma from the death of my son. I had some hard relationships and some connections. I had some hard situations, and I talked about it on my live the other day, but they were traumatic because I was already struggling with trauma. So these things just added to it, and I did not know how to process it all until I got in a very still place, till I got by myself, till I wasn't afraid to be alone, till I wasn't afraid to go to the counselor or the therapist. Or I was already in counseling, but until I opened up about that part of my life and about not understanding my feelings and why I felt so much hurt and hate and why I felt like I needed to fix it or get back or, or why I had to repay. And I learned the process of getting in a calm space. But the number one thing I want to talk to you about today, and prayerfully I'll come back before today, but I have to go back and finish my mission here in Bradenton. I've been here all weekend. The number one thing about trauma and how you can grow from your trauma is I want you to know that you can't lose yourself in the trauma. Now, you can't lose yourself, and I'm going to expound on that later today. You will lose yourself at first if you're really human and you're tapped into your emotions. It's natural because we're human that you lose yourself a little bit and you ask a lot of questions and you go on that long journey. Of course, I didn't begin to tap into mine until the beginning or the middle of 2021. As I told you all, I was very distracted 2020, and it caused me not to really process my healing correctly. But 2020, I was very distracted. Half of 2021 I was. But when I got by myself in a alone space, I realized that I had really lost myself. But one thing that I can tell you, and I'll expound on it this week, or today, don't lose yourself. And I'll tell you how I really was intentional about how to find myself over and over again. Because you're not just going to lose yourself once, you're going to lose yourself over and over again. Your mind will play tricks with you over and over again. So on this journey, there's so many things to learn about it. I'm here to share with you from an authentic space. I won't be as vulnerable. With some of my friends, I'm very vulnerable. I'm learning the difference between authenticity, to be genuine, and to be vulnerable. You don't have to be vulnerable with everybody, but you can be authentic and you can be honest and you can be genuine. So that's the space that I reside in on this channel. Is a lot of authenticity, a lot of genuineness, openness, honesty. So you can see someone that's not just talking about it, someone that's not just going to give you points. I will be sharing with you from my life experience, things that I had to walk through, things that I had to cry through, things that I had to pray through, things that I had to learn all over again in my mindset. But now I'm in a much better space. I'm a lot more healed. I'm a lot more calm. I'm a lot more quieter. I'm a lot more wiser. I'm a lot more stronger. So with that being said, I hope you have an amazing Monday. I hope you have an amazing week. I hope you be intentional about your mind space, your heart space, and really to become healed. Because when you're healed, everything around you is healed. Everybody around you is healed. Everywhere you walk gets healed. Trust me, I'm living it. Y'all have an amazing week. Love, peace, and happiness. Demetrius Thomas, your peacologist, coming to you from Bradenton, the Riverwalk. What a beautiful morning.